It's a lovely musical introduction. Cantor, Peicott, and I were just having a moment where we said, we should probably be a little more strategic and make sure we're not done. Our service is usually like 55 minutes, and we thought, so that puts us in the middle of the mourner's cottage at 7 o'clock. So we thought maybe we see if we can. We were going the other direction. No one needs to hear a drash, right? Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It's so great to be here. So great to be here just in front of live people. A couple of us were on Zoom earlier today and have been this week, and it's just nice to actually see everyone in 3D. And it's so great to be here. Great to be here at the university campus in such a lovely spot and a lovely way to enjoy the summer out here together in Ruby Garden. So take a minute before we begin. First, double check your cell phones, make sure they're off. If you're not here in Ruby Garden and you're watching us from home, don't turn your iPad or whatever off, because that would be a problem. But if you're here, turn it off so that we can just be in these beautiful moments of Shabbat together. And take a minute, turn to somebody, a row away or whatever who you don't know. Introduce yourself, wish them a Shabbat Shalom. We're all family here.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We're going to get started on page 10 with the words of Ma Yafeh Hayom. How wonderful it is today, because it is Shabbat. Ma Yafeh Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. 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 Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
We welcome Shabbat with Shabbat light, with the lighting of our Shabbat candles on page 3. and I didn't tell her I was going to do this, but I'm going to put your mom, Cantor Lisa, on the spot here.
Come on, we'll do it together.
You can do it. Your daughter's a Cantor. You can do it with her. Sounds like my mother. It's true.
We're going to bring in that light of Shabbat 3 times into our hearts, into our homes, and into our lives. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת.
I'm not going to hear the end of that. Just a moment, page 24. We'll join together in these words of Shalom Aleichem. These words that imagine that there are Shabbat angels, and there's a beautiful story that some of you heard me share last week, but I think it's appropriate again this week, actually, which is that these 2 Shabbat angels, a good angel and an evil angel, visit homes as Shabbat's coming in on Friday evenings, and that if the angels visit a home and the home is in disarray and they're not ready for Shabbat and there's not a challah in the oven and there's not food, being prepared for the table and not family together, the evil angel says, "Ha ha! May it be so again next week." But if they visit a home that is ready for Shabbat, family gathered around a table, challah baking in the oven, that warmth and that light and that glow and that love of Shabbat in the air, that the good angel says, "Aha! May it be so again next week." And I thought it was appropriate to share as we move into Shalom Aleichem tonight, because this is Shabbat. This beautiful feeling of togetherness that we've longed for so much, I think, these past 16 months. And so may it be so again for us next week.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We'll turn now to page 20 for L'Chadodi, the mystical poem that imagines that on Friday evenings as the sun sets, that Shabbat arrives like a bride at a wedding, arrives into our world like a bride at a wedding, because of this metaphor that Shabbat is emblematic of a wedding between God and the Jewish people. And so we'll join together in verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach verse 9, we'll rise and we'll turn and face the gate through which we all entered, as if to greet that Shabbat bride.
זכור בדיבור אחד השמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד לשמו תפארת ולתחילה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם משוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה התעוררי כי באורך ומאורי אורי אורי שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. La 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 לחדותי יאללה לה 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 לקראת קלה יאללה לה 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 פני שבת נקבלה בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה ובצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה בואי חלה La la la
finding and turn to page 26 for the Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא דברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יאי לה לי 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 יאי לה לי 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 יאי לה לי 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 יאי לה לי 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 יאי לה לי 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 יאי לה לי 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 יאי לה לי 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 יאי לה לי 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 ברכו את אדוני המבורך
Let's read together the English in the middle of page 31. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over?
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה אדוני צבאות שמו אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני המעריף ערבי Ahavat Olam, page 32. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavta, Amcha Ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta, otanu limadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shochenu, u'kumeinu nasiach b'chukecha. אהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
You may be seated. We join together in the chanting of the Ve'ahavta on page 36. And I will say a funny story, because I think it's someone acknowledged this. Wilshire Boulevard Temple sings the Ve'ahavta slightly differently. So I am going to try the uni campus way, but I need all of the uni people to be extra loud so that I don't mess up. Can we all do that? Right? Can we do that? Yeah? Okay, great. Page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
All right, I got to make a smart aleck comment.
Do it.
I might be a rabbi. I can read music. Honestly, is there a single person here that sounded any different to? Other than Sadie. See?
Okay, so I'm going to nerd out a little bit.
Teach us.
Okay. So the way that you chant trope is obviously the way that you chant the Ve'ahavta, because the Ve'ahavta, the words of it, come from Torah. So when Wilshire Boulevard Temple chants the Torah, they chant that Munach Katon properly, the way it's done in Torah trope, which is the same way that Uni Campus chants the Ve'ahavta. But Wilshire, did I do it the other way around? But Wilshire Boulevard Temple goes Ve'ahavta. We go down, which is different than how you chant Torah trope. So we're all relearning because we want it to line up with how we teach the kids to chant Torah. We want to look back and say, no, you chant it the same way you do the Ve'ahavta. Ve'ahavta, Ve'ahavta. See?
Yeah.
Do it for me.
I know that was supposed to help. I'm more confused now.
We'll Zoom. We'll explain it.
Okay.
We'll explain it. I'm a little confused too. That makes both of us.
A decade of seminary between the two of us. And okay. Page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot. That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt. That there is a better place, a promised land. That the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. And that there is no way to get from here to there, except by joining hands and marching together.
yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai 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 lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh, lo ratzilot, osef ele, malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, tzili anu ve'yomeru, Adonai yimloch, le'olam le'olam va'ed. Yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai 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 lai, yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai 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 lai. ונאמר כי אדוני את יעקב, וגלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. יאללה לי 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 לי, יאללה לי לי לי, יאללה לי 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 לי, יאללה לי 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 לי, יאללה לי לי לי, יאללה לי 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 לי. Amen. Amen.
We come to Hashkivenu, page 42, our evening prayer that asks that God spread a Sukkot Shalom, a shelter of peace, over us, over those we love, over our world, and particularly fitting. So we ask for that sheltering presence for us, for our families, for our city, for our world on this Shabbat.
Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. But then I pray, don't take me soon, 'cause I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will pray one day, one day, one day. Oh, one day, one day, one day. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, ve'amidenu melkei, nu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, ve'amidenu melkei, nu lechaim. Ushmor tzitzeinu, uvoeinu, lechaim u'shalom, me'atza me'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, ve'amidenu melkei, nu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leShalom, ve'amidenu melkei, nu lechaim.
So this very beautiful young lady next to me is Miss Sadie Tanner Rose Bernstein. She's one of our teens from Wilshire Boulevard Temple. And the next prayer that we have is the Vishamru. Vishamru comes to us, words from Torah. And a lot of us think of Vishamru, big up piece. But Vishamru is really about the peace and the stillness of Shabbat. Look, it just got still on sunset. A reminder that we're supposed to take this time, these 25 glorious hours, to recharge and to reset our batteries. So this is a setting of Vishamru by the brilliant composer Michael Oakes that really encompasses that stillness and that sweetness of Shabbat.
Vishameru V'nei Yisrael Et HaShabbat La'asot Et HaShabbat V'dorotam V'rit Olam
Can't do that on Zoom from your living room.
No, you can't. I missed it so much. I miss singing with my babies.
We come now to the Amidah. We're going to do something a little different this evening, which is that we're going to take the entire Amidah silently. Sometimes we do the first 2 or 3 blessings aloud and then take some silent time. But tonight, just in this peaceful, still, quiet of Shabbat, we're going to take the whole thing silently. We'll begin that first line on page 46, Adonai Sefatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha, together. We'll all rise. We'll sing that together, and then we'll continue through page 62, either with the words on the pages of the prayer book, or if you prefer, just close the prayer book and the words of your heart.
Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha, Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha. Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha Ufi Yagid Tehilatecha.
If you've completed your prayers, you may sit down. At the end of our Amidah, we have a little meditation for ourselves. We hope and we pray that whatever it is that we offered, may it be heard by God, however it is that you imagine God's presence to be. But most importantly, may those words have been heard within yourself.
May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be
take a moment amidst our joy and celebration on this Shabbat to think of loved ones and family members, members of our community who are in need of healing, in need of wholeness. And in a moment in the middle of page 253, we'll offer a Misha Berach, a prayer of healing for them. So if you're thinking of someone tonight, if you're carrying someone in your heart tonight who could use a bit of wholeness, a bit of healing, I invite you to rise at this time, and as my eyes meet yours, to share that name aloud.
We hold all those names in our heart as we offer a prayer of healing, a Misha Berach.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So we're reading the final two parshiot in the book of Bamidbar and the book of Numbers this week. And the very first thing that the Torah reminds us, in no unclear or uncertain terms, is the importance of keeping a promise. To paraphrase the Torah, if we make a vow or an oath or obligate ourselves to something, we may not break that pledge. Anything that crosses our lips, we must carry out. Lovely. Seems simple enough. But the truth is, we live in a world and we live in a town of broken promises. It's easy for us, I think, sometimes to be casual, even thoughtless, about making promises without having any real intention of following through. They're kind of throwaway promises, right? Let's do lunch. I'll call you later. Nothing earth-shattering. And then there are the promises that hurt a little bit more when they're broken. The job is yours. It's a deal. You have my word. I won't miss your game. I'll see you at your recital. We all know that there are few things that hurt more than a broken promise. But if that's true, then the reverse also has to be true, that nothing means more than a promise that's kept. Perhaps that's why the Torah underscores that point for us. And it made me think of a story I read not too long ago about Mary and Ben. Apparently they met in the 2nd grade. And no matter what, Ben would always look out for Mary. Now, Mary Lapkowitz had Down syndrome. Ben Musser did not. They were inseparable at their Pennsylvania elementary school, and if Mary wasn't being included in an activity or going outside, Ben included her. Their teacher, Tracy, remembers it to this day. If she was looking like she wasn't having fun, he would go over and talk to her. He just always watched over her, Tracy remembers. In the 4th grade, Ben made a promise to Mary. When they were in high school, he would take her to the prom. I thought Mary was really cool, Ben said, of their grade school days. She was sweet, she was nice, she was easy to get along with. Mary thought much the same of Ben. Now, they went to different and rival high schools. He became the quarterback of the football team, and she helped her dad, who was her school's equipment manager. When they were both 17, Ben kept his promise, and he asked Mary to the prom. She was a vision in purple. He wore a complimenting purple vest and bow tie. And as they posed for photos with their parents, the pair smiled arm in arm. Mary had a wrist corsage that she wore of white roses, and Ben had a matching boutonniere. Neither thought that their pairing was anything out of the ordinary. A friend is a friend, after all. And a promise is a promise. As I shared with a few folks I was chatting with before we began the service, I realized this week, much to my horror and terror, that Rosh Hashanah is in less than 8 weeks. God help us. When it comes early, as we like to say, it just kills the end of the summer for rabbis and cantors, doesn't it? But that also means that in just over 8 weeks, we'll all be together upstairs for Yom Kippur, thinking and reflecting a lot on promises we made a year ago, sitting on Zoom, watching our services, and many others that I'm sure we've made along the way this year. Hopefully many kept, but surely some broken. So as we begin to turn our thoughts toward the High Holy Days, the Torah speaks to us this week, reminding us that it's not too late to make good on all of our lofty intentions. Not too late to keep our promises. Shabbat Shalom. I have no announcements, Cantor Peicott. Do you? Tomorrow morning, wait, not 9:30, Stan. 9, I think. 9, Hever Torah with Rabbi Stan Davids. Special thank you to Sam and Susan, our wonderful musicians. I know you miss singing to tracks, but it's better live.
Yeah, just a little bit. I have one announcement. So we've entered into this 3-week period of mourning, which leads up to Tisha B'Av. And so next Saturday evening, online, Rabbi Joel Nickerson and I will be leading a Tisha B'Av ceremony. So we'll end Havdalah together and Shabbat together. And then we'll just have a moment to kind of sit with the sadness of this year, sit with all of those things that we've gone through, because within our tradition, we have a day for that. It's the day that commemorates the destruction of the first temple and the second temple and a whole bunch of other bad things that happened to the Jewish people. But it's really just this ritual to acknowledge our feelings, acknowledge our sadness, so that we can get up the next day and continue on. So it'll be 7:30 on our online services, which you can find on Facebook or on the website. So we hope that you can join us for this important ritual in our Jewish calendar.
With that, we'll turn to page 282. Page 282, the bottom of the page, and we'll rise for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, ושמו, ושמו אחד.
You can be seated. We turn our thoughts now to sacred moments of memory, moments of Kaddish, as we think of loved ones and family members, members of our community who are no longer with us. We begin by thinking of those for whom we're in a period of shloshim, those who have died during these past 30 days. As we call to mind Valentine Amid, Roger Bairstock, Anat Ben Ishai, Naomi Brennan, Nathaniel Friedman, Ben Kaplan, Joel Martin Karp, Muriel Kaufman, Myron Mike Roberts, Joanne Seff, Helen Sherman, Ida Sondheimer, and Larry Weiner. We add to their names the names of those whose yahrzeits occurred during this past week: Sophia Allenberg, Alan Barbaco, Norman Beck, Itamar Ben Gira, Lee Bennett, Judah Berosowski, Manuel Bornstein, Ray Boroshansky, Gilka Brenner, David Cantor, Eleanor Castleman, Bernard Cezanne, Ed Chanis, Beatrice Court, Francis Crane, Louis Creamer, Marilyn Curry Fricks, Bruce Dardick, Wolf Davidson, Irene Druton, Paula Eisenberg, Herman Ehrlich, Maurice Eskowitz, Beth Lisa Feldman, Philip Fenton, Shirley Fenton, Ellen Flanagan, Theodore Flesh, Lee Fomelant, Dorothy Jean Fox, Blanche Friedman, Marcia Gardner, Judy Gelfand, Raymond Gertz, Dorothy Gold, Lillian Grossberg, Jania Gross, Millicent Heyman, Jacob Hecht, Letta Hilliard, Minna Horowitz, Monroe Eisen, Elizabeth Jacobs, Michael Jaffe, Sion Javahiri, Charlotte Josko, Julius Josko, Nancy Capson, Deary Carrots, Sheila Josephsberg Kasten, Max Kessler, Jess Kuden, Harry Krankoff, Alan Kurtzman, Leah Elizabeth Lauder, Zelda Leventner, Suzanne Lax, Ron Levy, Eileen Lindenbaum, Richard Lutz, Beverly Mandel, Linda Matuson, George Milder, Elliot Miller, Aubrey Morris, Myrtle Mullins, Jashid Nehurai, Paul Orloff, Lillian Palanker, Steve Pallitz, Leonard Penn, Rose Mills Pepper, Quincy Plattis, Gladys Polish, Bess Ratner, Mary Redler, Mayor Rosen, Arthur Rosenfeld, Sidney Rosen, Eric Rothenberg, Dorothy Rubin, Minnie Ruby, Betty Rudolph, Miriam Sanders, Herbert Schrimmer, Jacob Schwartz, Sheila Glassberg Schwartz, George Sobolski, Robert Sedway, Alex Schulman, Aaron Joshua Simons, Rudolph Sims, Pauline Stark, Griselle Stern, Stanley Talpus, Jerry Traeger, Marion Trebacks, Ruth Wallace, Paul Weingarten, Jerry Weintraub, Joseph Weiner, Madeline Yadigar, Stanley Zimmerman, and Theodore Zola. If there are names to add or a name that I've mispronounced, please feel free to add it at this time. We also think of those to whom we are grateful but do not know, those who have fallen defending the flags of the United States of America, the State of Israel, and all the innocent victims of senseless terrorism and violence all over the world, and everyone who has no one to say Kaddish for them. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 294, and we rise. Itgadal v'itkadash shemei Rabba, ve'alma divrach irutei ve'amlich malchutei, v'chaye echon v'yom echon, v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kari v'imru, amen. Yehe shemei Rabba mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya. Itbarach v'ishtabach v'itpa'ar v'troman v'itnaseh, v'tale v'talal shemei d'kudsha b'rechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ta'amiran v'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom, alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen.
Oseh shalom. Shalom, hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh shalom, hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh, hu ya'aseh shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Please join us in Kiddush and Motzi. Come on, Joey. You can have some of the grape juice. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that could have been bad.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu.
Chaim. So cute.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Rest assured, there's a lot more hollow right behind you. This little hollow is not meant to feed us all. Shabbat shalom, everyone.